All right, let's talk about compound interest. We've all seen those amazing charts, right? The ones that promise if you just invest a little bit of money consistently, it's going to magically turn into a fortune. It's supposed to be the secret sauce of building wealth. But if you're like most people, you look at your own account and there's a serious disconnect.
And you've probably asked yourself this exact question. You're doing everything you're supposed to. You're saving every month, you picked a decent investment, you're not touching it, and still the growth feels, invisible? You look at the balance and just think, is this thing even working?
Well, I'm here to tell you that gap you're feeling is 100% real. And guess what? It's not your fault. You're not doing anything wrong. The problem isn't compound interest itself. It's a crucial part of the whole equation that almost nobody ever talks about. So today, let's pull back the curtain on that missing piece together.
Okay, here's the truth. Compound interest has what you could call an invisibility phase. Right at the beginning, its effects are so tiny that, honestly, they're psychologically meaningless. It just feels like absolutely nothing is happening. And this is the exact point where most people get discouraged, they get frustrated, and they quit.
And this gets to the absolute heart of it. It's a size problem. Technically, the math is working perfectly. An 8% return on $50 for a whole year is, $4. But let's be real. $4 does not change your life. It barely buys you a coffee. This is that invisibility phase in action.
And just look at how slowly this builds when you're starting small. If you invest $50 a month, after a full decade of being disciplined, you're at about $9,000. Even after 30 years, you've hit around $75,000. Now look, that's real money for sure, but for 3 decades of effort, it can feel pretty underwhelming. You can see why people give up.
But now, watch what happens when we only change one thing. We keep the same 8% return, the same 30-year timeline, but we just increase the monthly contribution. Look at this. Going from $50 a month to $400 doesn't just double or triple the outcome, it multiplies it by 8 times to nearly $600,000. This shows you what the real engine of your growth is in the beginning.
So here it is, the secret nobody tells you. In your early investing years, the single most powerful tool you have isn't finding some hot stock or chasing crazy returns. It's the amount of money you can put in each month. That right there is your superpower.
Let's make this crystal clear with some hard numbers. Path 1 is the high-risk fantasy, right? You invest $200 a month, and you're trying to chase this really risky and, let's be honest, pretty unlikely 16% return. Path 2 is the disciplined, almost boring approach. You stink with a standard 8% return, but you find a way to invest $350 a month instead. After 10 years, the safer path with the higher contribution comes out on top. It just wins.
And that's really the bottom line. You end up with more money, and you took on way less risk to get it. The strategy of just focusing on the one thing you can actually control, your savings rate, is mathematically and psychologically just a better way to go for anyone who's starting out.
Okay, so if the early years are just this grind that's all about our contributions, you have to be asking, when does that change? When does the so-called magic of compounding finally take over? Well, there is a turning point. There is a kind of magic number where the entire dynamic of your portfolio just flips.
And based on historical market data, that threshold seems to be right around $100,000. This is the approximate size where your portfolio stops being this thing you have to feed, and it starts becoming the primary noticeable driver of its own growth.
In the beginning, this chart is what your growth really looks like. Your own contributions are doing 83% of the work. You are doing almost all of the heavy lifting yourself. The actual market returns, they're just a tiny slice of the pie.
But then, after you cross that $100,000 threshold, the roles completely reverse. It's amazing. Suddenly, your investment returns are generating more growth than your new contributions are. Your money is now officially working harder than you are. This is the phase everyone is trying to get to. So, let's simplify this whole journey into a really clear roadmap. If you can understand this 2-part model, it'll change how you think about everything. It's not one long, slow process. It's 2 totally distinct phases that have different rules.
So, phase 1 is the contribution grind. In this phase, you are the engine. Your entire focus, your only goal should be on increasing how much you save. Then you hit phase 2, the compounding reward. Now your money becomes the engine. Your job actually shifts from aggressive saving to just patient management as the growth starts to speed up all on its own. The grind is temporary, and it has a clear goal: get to phase 2.
This right here is the key mindset shift.
Compound interest isn't the plan you execute day to day. It's the prize you win after you successfully execute the real strategy. And that strategy is just relentlessly growing your monthly contribution.
So how do you get to that reward phase faster? Here are 4 super concrete, actionable steps. First, treat your investment like it's your most important bill. Second, automate the transfer on payday so you don't even see the money. And this last one is crucial. Every single time you get a raise, commit right then and there to investing half of that new income before your lifestyle gets a chance to swallow it all up.
Look, building wealth isn't about finding some secret stock or trying to time the market perfectly. It's really about consistency. It's about understanding these 2 phases and just staying in the game long enough to graduate from the grind to the reward. You just need to give the math enough time to finally tip over in your favor.
So I'll leave you with this question. Forget about the 30-year plan for just a second. What is one small, tangible thing you can do this week? Cancel a subscription you don't use. Skip one dinner out to increase your very next contribution, even by just a little bit. Because that's where the journey to phase 2 actually begins.